Welcome to my channel. Wagner fighters in Russian cities defy Putin's charge of mutiny. The boss of Russia's Wagner group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, says its mercenaries have seized all military facilities in the southern city of Rostov-on-Don. They are also said to have deployed in Voronezh, further north, following his threat to march on Moscow to topple Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. President Vladimir Putin said it was a stab in the back, and pledged to punish those who had betrayed Russia. Tightened security has been introduced in many regions, including Moscow. The Wagner Group is a private army of mercenaries that has been fighting alongside the regular Russian army in Ukraine. Tension has been growing between them over how the war has been fought, with Prigozhin launching vocal criticisms of Russia's military leadership in recent months. The dramatic escalation came after Prigozhin accused Russia's military of hitting his group's base in Ukraine, a claim denied by Moscow. Prigozhin claims this is not a military coup, but his aim seems to be to topple Russia's military leadership, reports the BBC's Russia editor Steve Rosenberg in Moscow. Putin under pressure as ally Yevgeny Prigozhin turns rebel. Yevgeny Prigozhin calls it his "march of justice." Vladimir Putin says it is a criminal escapade and an armed mutiny. One senior Russian commander has called it a coup. Whatever you call it, the Wagner chief has gone for broke to try to topple Russia's military leadership. This had been brewing. For months there has been very public infighting between Wagner and Russia's Ministry of Defense over how the war in Ukraine has been fought. Wagner had repeatedly accused the ministry of failing to supply the mercenary group with sufficient ammunition, and doing that on purpose. Prigozhin had been increasingly vocal in his criticism of Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Chief of the General Staff Valery Gerasimov. Criticizing is one thing. Armed confrontation is another. Prigozhin claims the Defense Ministry started it, though, with a missile strike on Friday on a Wagner base camp. The Russian authorities deny that ever happened. They call that story an information provocation. Greece ignored offer to monitor migrant boat, says EU border agency. Greece did not respond to an offer to send a plane to monitor a migrant boat that later sank with huge loss of life, EU border officials say. At least 82 people are known to have died in the incident last week, but the UN says a further 500 may have drowned. Greece has faced criticism for not doing more to respond to the disaster. The BBC also found that the migrant boat hardly moved in the hours before it capsized, contradicting the Greek claim it was on a safe, steady course. Mike Pence challenges rivals to back 15-week abortion ban. Former U.S. Vice President Mike Pence has challenged his rivals in the Republican presidential field to support a 15-week national abortion ban. He told a conservative gathering every Republican candidate for president should support 15 weeks, as a minimum nationwide standard, on abortion. Last year the Supreme Court overturned the constitutional right to abortion in the U.S. Anti-abortion groups want to make a federal ban a key 2024 election issue. The leader of one such group, Marjorie Dannenfelser with Susan B. Anthony, Pro-Life America, has said she will oppose any presidential candidate who does not embrace a 15-week national ban. She called Mr. Pence the definition of an unapologetic pro-life leader. Mr. Pence, who has long made his evangelical faith central to his political identity, is one of the few Republican candidates to have spoken unequivocally about his support for such a ban. On Friday at the Faith and Freedom Coalition's annual conference in Washington, D.C., Mr. Pence said, "Let me say from my heart, the cause of life is the calling of our time, and we must not rest and must not relent until we restore the sanctity of life to the center of American law in every state in this country."